All right. Welcome, everyone. I think we could get started. Welcome to Beyond Baroque Literary Arts Center. Welcome to the Wanda Coleman Theater. Yes. And welcome to the Los Angeles book launch of The Invasion of Pantomime by Tim Xonelly. Please give it up for Tim. We have a special night for you tonight. The work of The Invasion of Pantomime, composed of themes such as dream imagery and queer pride, I think is going to resonate tonight. Featured poets and writer and educator antmen Pimentel Mendoza is and therapist, poet and performer Roberto F. Santiago. Let's give it up for those folks as well. They're here to support Tim's work. My name is Jimmy Vega. I am the interim executive director of Beyond Baroque. I'd like to welcome you all to the center. And I'd like to start by acknowledging Beyond Baroque's presence on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Tonga peoples. We acknowledge the wrong done to these peoples through settler colonialism, genocidal practices, and the violent disposition of their land. As an arts organization, we are committed to uplifting indigenous communities, their stories, and cultures. For those who don't know, Beyond Baroque is Los Angeles' oldest literary arts center, located here in Venice, California. Founded in 1968 by George Drury Smith. Yeah, it's 58 years this fall. First as an experimental literary magazine before reimagining itself and becoming the literary home we know it as today. We exist to support writers of all kinds, new writers, new writing. We do this through a variety of ways, through our extensive reading and program series, our writing workshops, and our performances, of course. We do also offer a number of workshops online via Zoom, such as our free weekly Monday night fiction workshop, facilitated by Raquel Baker, and our historic Wednesday night poetry workshop, currently facilitated by Martin Yago. I would like to acknowledge that Tim taught that workshop at one point. That workshop has been running continuously for the last 68 years. So we're really proud of that workshop and facilitators like Tim who have kept it running. We've got more workshops slated for the upcoming year, so do stay tuned for some of that. And aside from that, we host about 150 programs in this theater. Events like tonight's, a book launch or panels or conversations. And, we keep it going around here. So on Valentine's Day, if you don't have a date already, we do have an LA book launch for This Time, This Place by Susan Suntry. That's going to feature Tom Lachis and Richard Modiano, former director of Beyond Baroque, along with some other folks. And on February 21st, Heidi Seaborn is in town with Erin Marie Lynch, Matthew Gelman, and Nick Martino. So I do welcome you all to come visit us again. You can find more information on all of that at beyondbaroque.org, at BB Lit Arts on our socials. And as some of you know, we do offer several memberships to Beyond Baroque, starting at $75. Memberships to the space are annual, and they allow us to keep the place running. This is a not-for-profit space. We support writers, and we can really only do that with your support. So if you are a member, I gratitude towards you and uplifting the space. And so just a quick reminder, since 1968, Beyond Baroque has nurtured generations of Los Angeles writers and artists, and we have our staff to thank for that. We've got Eric Alberg in the booth, along with Ivan Salinas. Yeah, let's make some noise for them. And we've got Genesis Perez in the bookstore, so please do visit them after the reading, because I'm sure our authors would love to sign their work. I think that's it for me. I'm passing it over to Tim Xonelly, super excited to host you and, for this kind of journey around facilitator to author in our theater. So one more time, let's give it up for Tim Xonelly.
Thanks. This is a homecoming for sure. So let's get started. I would like to introduce Antmen, Pimentel, Mendoza. So this book started in class on surrealism in spring of 2020, which turned out to be a very surreal time, if you'll recall. And Antmen and I were in that class together. Antmen Pimentel Mendoza is a queer Philippine-American poet based in Oakland, California. Antmen's poetry gazes into gaps and ligatures between humor and eroticism, flirting with the queer, the pop cultural, and the ekphrastic. In 2023, Antmen published their debut chapbook, My Boyfriend Apocalypse, with Nomadic Press, reprinted by Black Lawrence Press in 2024. Through these poems, Antmen responded to the myriad simultaneous apocalypses we are and are not surviving, from the everyday crisis of being a body to the global emergencies of devastating climate change and unfettered white supremacy. Antmen is writing a full-length manuscript about queer survivorhood and grief. Please help me welcome Antmen to the stage here.
Thank you, Tim. That's a very fancy version of my bio I forgot I wrote. Made me sound really impressive. I think something I tell people, because when I read that bio or similar bios, is that all that stuff is true, but my poems are maybe a little sillier than they might sound based on that synopsis. I'm going to set a little timer to be sure I don't go over. I'm going to start with a new poem. I'm going to read some stuff from the chapbook, My Boyfriend Apocalypse. But this first poem is called How's Couch to 5K Going? I am learning to run in a time of deep unrest, which I maybe mean euphemistically, but I also feel unlanguageable. Every year I grow to hate the phrases at a time like this, and now, more than ever, and unprecedented times, not only because they fall short of true, but because I refuse to marvel at the supposed novelty of empire's hunger. I would say I only run when I'm being chased, but I paid the App Store $14.99 to be told when to switch from my warm-up walk to a run, and back to a walk again. I nod at neighbors, I smell the overgrown fennel in their yards, I dodge strollers, signs of life, and later, in rural Minnesota at a residency for artists, I run, chased by mosquitoes. I run from the old house, the estate of a dead inventor of breakfast cereal, a grain puffer. Along the pavement into the industrial park, I find idols. The winds dance through the tall grasses, the giant pickup station and employee spaces, the travelers pulling into the gas station where the teenager working took my ID and said, California, girl, what are you doing out here? The teenager whose Nana, it turns out, makes art in a studio on the same estate grounds I'm staying. I ought to keep seeking romance in flat places, and resplendent youths relieved at my faggy swish when I stop by to buy shitty beer, and I am learning to run in case I turn the corner on the prospect of going on in this body, of using these two eyes to witness what can grow after our world burns. I'm learning to run because I know I have more to learn, even the rote machination of my legs pulling into tomorrow. I learn to run as my fear of what I might run into, the future, the unknown, the truth that I am highly capable, finally burns out. And the app teaches me my pace dips in the second mile, but I usually catch some wind for a third. Back home, I run further around a man-made lake, where I come to recognize regulars. Strangers onto whom I pin significance, a silent significance. The sweaty one starts nodding back at me. The watchful one stations her walker in new spots every other week. the commuting to, keep themselves safely lost in some father-daughter language unreachable to the rest of us. I feel precious about being a neighbor at a time like this, now more than ever, in this unprecedented time when preciousness seems a scarcity when I'm learning to run. Thank you all so much. Tim's note about that class reminded me that a lot of the poems in this chapbook that's for sale at the bookstore were written in that class as well. And it was a very surreal time. And one of the poems that opens this, one of the first poems in this chapbook, is an erasure of an Andre Breton essay on the poet's function. And it's one of multiple title poems. This is My Boyfriend, the Apocalypse. 1932, the poet's function. The poet, the future, the depressing notion, the irreparable divorce, the magnificent fruit will assume and press upon the depth of each other. Human destruction would instantaneously null and void objective realities, and virtue, one hand, readily slips into the god. The poet, a phenomenon of intuitive produce, will put an end to men, all men, renounce order. We shall cry each time, more or less, subject to existence, we manage a lovely lasting mingling with the light of day, and will not have greater intimacy. I'm going to read one more from the chapbook, then I'm going to come back to some new stuff. This poem is about a commercial I couldn't stop thinking about. It was like one of those milk ads, like the Got Milk ads, right? But this one had a pair of gay dads, and it really stuck with me. So this poem's called The Gay Dads and the Milk Ad That Tells Me to, quote, love what's real, consider a gay divorce. 1, I'm not saying I regret having the kid. I would never say that. What I mean to say is anything true or funny, at least. Love to love you, brown eyes. On a Sunday morning with maple syrup, a beaten egg, a loose batter. Later that night, we send Willow up to brush her teeth. We read her Ferdinand again. We don't teach her bad words, civil war, or oxymoron, or casualty. Watching CNN, you ask me, how long does a volcano have to be dormant before it's dead? An hour later, I read Isherwood in bed again when you snake in from the 2-car garage, swallow me in a kiss with your bong-ripped open-wide whale shark mouth. What I mean to say is, I do miss a bear night at Steamworks, and I regret that on most days. 2, after we watch a Netflix doc on the meat and dairy industry, I pick up soy milk from Whole Foods, but Willow doesn't like the filmy way it goes down. Milk mustachioed Tony Hawk and milk mustachioed Britney Spears on gender-appropriate posters lining gym class locker room hallways and the food pyramid's bready base, they're totally corporate scams. Can you believe that? I saw a headline that said California's in shambles because of the demand for almond milk, but the sugar in oat milk hurts my tummy. On Recon, I told you I was a sub because I keep such tight coil control in my waking hours that the prospect of slumber fading into you throat first was liberation. That there was no molasses to preserve as sweet as the release it is to be nothing before you enter me, until I sheath you. Then you took me on our first date, then another. Thank you. I'm a very sweaty person, and so I'm acutely aware that I'm very sweaty right now. Anyway, I'm going to move on to my next poem. This poem is based on a true story. It's called Do You Like Games? When I was 21, a man played a game with me on a first date. He asked me to imagine myself in a box with an inch allowance in each direction from my body. What is the texture of the box? Silk, I think. Hardwood, I say. A light glows in the box. What color is it? Pink, I think. White, I say. How do you feel being in the box? Calm, at home, I think. Maybe a little scared, I guess, I say. He tells me the key. The game reveals my relationship with death. Pushed on a gurney through the trauma bay at Highland earlier that year, my seas stilled. I said please and thank you. To everyone, clad in scrubs, checking my vitals, asking if I knew my name, the date, the president, stitching the puncture in my belly shut, silk, please, pink, thank you, calm, again, pink, silk, please, thank you, at home. This poem is called Advice from a Hybrid Cultivar. It's inspired by shopping at Berkeley Bowl and seeing all of the stone fruit in stone fruit season, which is a very special thing to do if you're ever in Berkeley at the time. Advice from a Hybrid Cultivar. Cloud busting fruit, donut sky fruit, you the king flesh, and I the subject stone. Wait, let me try to say this plainly. No, fruit is the wish to be somebody. The body is king, the king is a fool, this fool a bundle, this faggot a disintegration, my integrity compliant, moss growing on riverside pebble, the moss, the pebble, the river, the side you imagine standing on, the side you can't see through the trees. Into a rival kingdom I pawned. Into a kingfisher's splayed beak I paw. Across the wingspan, spawning rooks from across into the gizzard again, babe. You have work here, babe. You feed, babe. This is purpose. This is survival. This is fitness. This is need. Go there. Be good. Thank you. Thank you. This is area studies, or poem ending with a multiple choice question. In the rubble of a small hour, along the chipped lip of a mug, ripped neck, cruising for a bruising, peeled back freckled plum head, locked in conquest, cartography, historical violence, fuck me, with your hunger to discover. Pick my scar tissue from your teeth. With a shard of femur, marrow wet on your beard, spitting caustic on my tongue, going pink, a cane against the hawk, a rush of blood motoring my legs in the quiet of tonight, puncta. Tuft of fair, coarse hair, blooming below your neck, your back, sitting beneath the meridian of your shirt collar by day, a sock you couldn't pause to shed before the events commenced, the cum drying in the cradle of your navel nation and body. When you yank back the quilt, you sing, looking at your body, your eyes draped against the lengths and widths. Tell me, what are you looking at? A, my body laid on a grid of proximity and distance from yours, your people, your history. B, my body on a spectrum of hues, graded across the fields, limbs, the cock you paw and nurse. C, my body is reassurance, document of witness, arrival and departure, rubber stamps, ink wells. D, a body just like the last. Thank you all so much. I have two more poems. This poem is about a pop song that I couldn't escape for a while. This is called Hate to See You Happy If I'm Not the One Driving, after SZA. The fall my abuser left, a song played everywhere, it seemed, unescapable. I might kill my ex. Yes, there were moments. The fall my abuser left me, I worried he would show up any and everywhere. I get the sense that it's a lost cause. I do think he loved me. The fall my abuser left me, he sends me an email I screenshot for posterity. Quote, I admit to being abusive, toxic, and controlling, but I don't believe I'm manipulative, end quote. I got me a therapist to tell me there's other men. I imagine it means the world to him, this distinction. The abusive boyfriend, the toxic boyfriend, the controlling boyfriend can be redeemed. I don't want none, I just want you. He knew where I lived. He packed up his things, left a note, vacated that very apartment while I was at work after all. He knew where I lived, and I turned the doorknob in the morning in fear's icy grip. The fall my abuser left me was a season of relief. I just killed my ex sounded just like a lullaby. There were moments I knew just how little my living concerned my ex. My fragile skin and bones an afterthought to his rage, how he'd punish me with hard turns on the road, with the gas pedal pressed fast against the floor of the car. I could imagine him singing along, don't you know I did it all for us. In Mexico City, he put me out, told me to get at 1 a.m. I imagined the catharsis belting that chorus. He punched a hole in the shelving unit that now sits on its side, the cracked bits hidden from view. Not the best idea. Session after session, my therapist gave me copy after copy of the power and control wheel for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and trans relationships. How'd I get here? I folded them, crisp creases, stuffed them into my bag. I looked over my shoulder in checkout lines, at parks, in the bed we shared. I did it all for love. I did it all on no drugs. I heard the song in checkout lines at work, blasting from cars pulled up at stop signs. I did this all sober. I heard the song and felt an itch in my limbs, the prey animal inside me running for cover. I did it all for love. For all his cruelty, he never showed outside my door. For all the emails and letters he sent, I haven't seen him in years. I'm so mature. I can even listen to this fucking song now. I'm so mature. The fall my abuser leaves me, I buy a new mattress. I decide he couldn't have killed me if he fucking tried. I emptied my bag, pull wheel after wheel after wheel. I might. Thank you all so much. I'm just going to read one more. This is the last poem that I wrote that I'm just noodling on. I thought it'd be fun to share that with you all. It's called Sisyphus and Arm Day. If I can't be good, God, make me beautiful. If I can't be good, God, make me brief. If I can't be good, God, make me one of a kind. If I can't be good, God, make me another. If I can't be good, God, unmake me. If I can't be good, God, make me better. If I can't be good, God, make me convenient. If I can't be good, God, make me useful. If I can't be good, God, make me worse. If I can't be good, God, make me easy. If I can't be good, God, make me small. If I can't be good, God, make me over. If I can't be good, God, make me a better offer. If I can't be good, God, make me worthwhile. If I can't be good, God, make me god-awful. If I can't be good, God, make me a lighthouse. If I can't be good, God, make me suffer. If I can't be good, God, make me able. If I can't be good, God, make me patient. If I can't be good, God, strike me down. Amen. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Tim, am I passing you to introduce Roberto, or am I doing that?
What's that?
Am I introducing Roberto, or are you doing that?
Either.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do it. Okay. I'm already here. Okay. Thank you all so much. I'm really excited to introduce Roberto F. Santiago. Roberto F. Santiago received an MSW from UC Berkeley and MFA from Rutgers University. His debut collection, Angel Park, appeared on the LA Times of 23 Essential New Books by Latino Poets and was a finalist for a Lambda Literary Award. His second collection, Like Sugar, is a torrent of culture, camp, theatricality, and sass. Roberto lives in San Francisco, where he works as a clinical social worker and nightlife fixture. His debut album, Pussycat, is now streaming on all major platforms. Give it up for Roberto.
Hi. Okay, so I spend a lot of my time writing clinical notes now, so it's really nice to be a writer today and not think about clients. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna read a bunch of poems. If you're good, I'll read a new one. If you're bad, maybe I'll read a new one. First one I want to read, I'm going to dedicate to Cher because there's a Luther Vandross moment in it. So if you know, you know. When I worked as a school social worker, there was this first grader who bullied me, and I was an adult. She said that boys can't wear nail polish, so I wrote a poem about her because I wanted to push her, but you can't do that, you know, because she was a child. This is Self-Portrait as a Boy in Nail Polish. That boy sweet. Sweet like sugar should be. Sweet like mango gate, so sweet it gets caught between your teeth. Orange honey blossom, syrupy as agave is sweet, sweet enough to sugar the red out of some Kool-Aid. That boy got a little more than just sugar in his tank. He's sweet as flowers bloom in morning dew, and the beauty seems to say, it's a pleasure when you treasure all that's new and true. And that boy caña, stabbed through a mojito, begging to lay in teeth. That boy folded hands and crossed legs. Don't start none, won't be none. Sugar pie, honey bunch. Sweeter than rainbow sprinkle, buttercream, sweeter than water ice or piraguas in July. That boy sweeter than a mug of hot cocoa and cinnamon, of marshmallow fluff or chata or matcha sweet tea on ice or red velvet amaretto. He's sweet as lavender caramel madeleines. That boy Nutella whispered on a street corner in gay Paris. Maraschino cherries soaked in Pepsi and candied raspberries after hotboxing up the coast. Burn your throat, he's so sweet. I have two kids, and my daughter just said good luck, and I just got it right now. Oh, that's so sweet. My first collection, Angel Park, came out 10 years ago. It's really 11 years in a couple months, but I want to say 10 years because that sounds better. So I'll read a poem from there, which might be a little bit sexy. I said it might be. The Voyeur. Tonight he's a fly dancing on the legs outstretched in a glass of expensive red. Atop a lacquer nightstand, the glass sweats, puckering the limp shellac from the dead. Tonight I'm slow like honey in a dream, heavy with breath and amber to the taste. Yielding the scent of syrup to the breeze, my window frames his face to face his. Eyes met mine as mine met his. Shadow shimmers fire black breath against the glass of red and pain and sill. Of the window frames the bed sweated in silk, brass, bone. When our hands are more honey than bone, the curtain falls and we're still alone. What a sad masturbation poem. I was at an artist residency a few years ago where I wrote a lot of Like Sugar, which is in the bookstore. And there was this artist who painted this beautiful boy, and I didn't know who the hell he was, but I just fell in love with the photo, or the painting. So I sat there and ekphrastic. I was like, I gotta write a story about this one. What is it gonna be? So this is that. This is a portrait of Patroclus after Ron Pergot's Ken looking at Caravaggio. That sounds so uppity, oh my gosh. The shadow cast from a single lantern is not biblical, though it is indistinguishable in proportion. He is a symphony exploding slowly at first, in shifts and silently, a meticulously pedaled crescendo brimming with vibration. His breath a plie stolen from the blackness of Caravaggio, a Merlot-lipped recitation of Cavafy under black lace. The black scriptures that bleed when you touch leave, shadow black like the naked silhouette of an usurper on his neck. His eyes glister gold as river light, an expression as old as the oldest form of wonderment. A pleasury, a seance gossamer white flame licked and split up the center. His vanillin abounds, a furrow roiling beneath the morning psalm of Achilles' horses. On his brow, a covenant with any creator willing to listen. A lot of words to be like, oh, he was so pretty. This one is one of my, I shouldn't say that. No, I'll say it. It's one of my favorite ones to read. And I think that means it needs to go into retirement, but who cares? And it's titled, You Up? In the jet pitch of night, I refuse sleep and its lulling touch. Were that devilry to swallow me whole, I'd grip it by the throat from the inside. Each finger an arachnid of bent cigarettes tearing through flesh to get to a place where I might gather the means and materials to march across another. Ooh, baby, not tonight. I don't wanna fuss and fight. I just wanna make it right. But I'm a fool. And I march towards the dawn, letting loose bits of light so I can retrace my steps and recollect themselves inside of me for you. My neck and lips tender thick with shine, a twitch, a flicker, a blink, like nebulae imploring. Give me all your love and don't stop. My love's waiting when you reach the top. all night long. Spreading gold black through purple smoke, I'll admit to being much less than advertised with my filthy hands and red face, but you only call me when you're lonely and you need someone, not me, one. And I'm not gonna beg you to be human when we're so close to the shit-a-da-da-da-da-da-do, shit-a-da-da-da-da-do. And all you want to do is get raised up to the dirt. Have no fear. I don't practice what I preach. I always have a fistful of stones for you in a pretty glass house. Inside is a love seat swayed as starlight, upholstered moonful as licorice, black wet with nighttime talk like spit in the movies. But better than that, I got a big mouth and an urge to back it up. So come into my bedroom, honey. What I got will make you spend money all night long. And I need it while I'm young and neon enough to underappreciate it. And you love it. You always do. Until I get too liberal arts on you and ask one too many questions. It was my birthday on Monday, and I'm Puerto Rican. Thank you. Bad Bunny won a whole bunch of awards that nobody had won before, being Puerto Rican. So I feel like I gotta read some Puerto Rican stuff. So, let's see. Okay, here it is. I was at that same artist residency, and there was an open mic that I helped lead. We just created one in the cafeteria. And this is what somebody said, and this is my response to it. The title is, you'll get it. In response to an old white woman saying, "I guess we're on Puerto Rican time." Say it to my face so I can spit a jungle down your throat. Say it so I can hear you say it. Say it till you choke. Say it so I can interrupt you con una canción yoruba so devastatingly brown that time itself is recalibrated to match the clave of Yema Ja's footsteps. A song I can dance to all hips and ass, una baila taíno so indigenous that you can taste the moment where we made the earth. Echo, yale, marumo, yale, mi llama mío. You say Puerto Rican time like it's a bad thing. You're late, bitch, no matter when you arrive. You think because your daddy came from the same Bronx that I did that we cool? My Bronx is the Bronx that your papi left behind. After the fires. After he reached in and tore my cousins from my tias. After he forced them back to work in the factories he owned. You ain't no kin to me. I came from a people stronger than water, and you're not half the huracán esa puta Maria was. Puerca, traga sangre, maldita, asquerosa, huele bicho. I bet you think this poem is about you. This is not a poem. It's an incantation for my mother and her tongue and the many before her, that split time open like a concha, freeing the salt, sweet flesh so that we might feed. This is not a poema. This is a cocotazo grandísimo, knuckles rapping at the top of your skull. Now you are that concha. Now, do you think you were good or bad? Ooh, that's the right answer, both. Okay. I'll read a brand new one to close. And brand new means this has not been published, but I keep on futzing with it. This is titled Didn't Mean To. Come on, weird. Okay. You know when you see that person up there that it's like not working for? That's happening now. Great. Okay, I'll just hold it closer. It's really tiny. Actually, you know what? I don't want to read that one. That's what it is. I'll read a poem called Tongue Tied, which is also one of my favorites to read, and I think it's a good closer. It's a little creepy. As autobiographical as I was tongue-tied once upon a time, and I'm not anymore, and this poem helps explain how. Tongue-tied. He was a wide-eyed winter and I a scarf. I wanted him to devour my me and all that made me a man or woman or worthy of skin. His mouth was the mouth of a million sailors long gone. The way he hissed as he danced to the sounds of arrows cutting through sweat. He kisses me like we're having an affair, broken, breathily, like this was the last one. Give him a stage and he'd make butterflies from thunder. There are flowers in any room he filled. In a bloom of night I willed him mine, or likely the inverse. To possess him was to be possessed by him. To house a body inside your own on nights apart, I ache for that white fence. Laying under stars, he told me he was once tongue-tied. The condition was present at birth. A short, tight band of tissue tethered his tongue to the floor of his mouth until he was a little boy standing in front of a mirror with a pair of cuticle scissors. He was 11. He said it took 3 nearly imperceptible snips. Making the hand motion, he said it felt like being pulled apart by 3,000 bee stings. He stared into mouth, into mirror. Swollen and red, he spit into his hands and felt parts of his mouth he had never known until that night. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to you, Tim, for including me in this, because it's just so sweet to be a writer along with other writers. But it means a lot to me to be reading with you. And so I'll just read this now. I just wanted to say that. And also, we should be connected more, because I think that we have some poetry that would hang out. Tim grew up on Redondo Beach, California, with the same name as that actor that played Chet on Emergency. By 1986, he was moderating the Beyond Baroque Wednesday night workshop alongside Michelle T. Clinton, Fernando Di Castro, and I wish I would have...
Francis.
Thank you. He also curated the poetry series at Angel's Gate Cultural Center at that time. Since 1991, Tim has lived in downtown Berkeley and worked in special education. He's been a contract negotiator with his union, and in 2018, he retired from paraprofessional work in the Berkeley School District. Damn, hard work. Now he volunteers, travels, and writes more than ever. Come on now. Previous publications include the chapbooks I Skip the Long Ones Too, 2004, A Season in Bed, 1998, Velcro Heart, 1989, and inclusion in the anthologies 1001 Nights, 20 Years of Redondo Poets at Coffee, Cartel, and Cross Strokes, Poetry Between Los Angeles and San Francisco. Let's give it up for the debut in LA, in this area. Come on now.
All right. Dot 1. Dude goes, that ring new? Can I see it? I just love your cute chub sausage fingers. Dude cracked me up. Check out every old fat guy pass by. Dude slip into Gizmo chipmunk puppet voice. Dude texts, his finders fly. Dude, we fit together like Legos. Don't let go. Dude hammers like a barn raising. Dude sweeter than the one I stole from a witch. Dude flower and bee. Dude hammers like a barn raising. Dude palm tree hair. Dude fireworks paint the sky. Dude goes, I want to know you, spreading 3 fingers in front of my nose. He's enlarging my font. Dude, that. I want that as well. Constellation Prize. To spend that free hour wisely. A resolution for every fall back. Go jogging or scrub the kitchen floor. Since always money burnt a hole in your pocket. In that alternative, they named a month of the year after you. In a Texas textbook, must be true. That wall of instant rice behind curtain number 2. 7 generations without thrift, eaten by cow disease, red dawn, cholesterol, and COVID. Oh, daylight hour invested that grumpy week in spring. Call it Beltane or Samhain, Virgo or Ganymede. Someone else's turn to name the things. Such nice, nice things. That one. Frank's Nightmare. When you dream, and you dream of being in your bed, in your room, your body knows this part is true. You are in bed, dreaming you are in bed. This part is accurate. Desk by the window, an empty glass. So when the window opens and an evil elf in a spacesuit, a body is likely to leap awake, making a vocal you cannot approximate, knocking stuff over. Your roommate is now also jumped awake, clutching a blanket to his middle, other hand, the heaviest thing he could grab, runs in to see. Nobody is getting killed. An evil elf walked in your room, your own safe room. Walked in calm as you please, as if an evil elf had business here. heart galloping in your jugular, you must now tell your roommate from your place on the floor with debris. Go to sleep. Put the clock down. It was nothing. Just a stupid dream. Okay. This is Furby Shark. The light has changed from red to green on my robot, charging in its rubber harness. Another lie when I check. The charge has gone from 18% to 3%. Ha ha! The robot knows how I disdain all robots, how I finally completely quit Facebleak, kept my landline, knows, how imported my email, this plague of physical distancing. Sure, Facebook is shrill, creepy panic land. Text siblings and poet friends. Robot knows their numbers at a button. Reading an old friend, a new poem, quickly before the charge is completely gone. Move I then away from the damned machine in its privilege? Web of rubber bands hold the cord in its busted port. Green light a lie. These are my dumb socks. I'm dancing with the yellow plastic danger tape, floating in the parade. I'm sipping a beer in a chaise lounge, dangling over the side of the 4th story. I'm doing somersaults in a tidal wave, walking barefoot on the freeway. I accidentally gave these birds the power of speech. Okay. That year we needed each other. Used to believe in a poetry of mostly verbs. Funding find all nouns flick tween ecstasy, stasis. Table, chair, nickel, cigar, match. No less us, no less. Boardwalk bars, poor last century's radio gods. That single sun flare melt the whole information cloud. Back go phones, just voice in them. Okay, I am going to close with 2 poems that are not in the book. This is Old Man Not Snoring. He asks me to wipe him, which he never has. I don't want to, but I put the gloves on. And no, he whines, clean me. Until I understand by his gestures, he just means pull up his pants. A good day yesterday, then a bad day today, capped by 2 morphine doses at 7 and 10, approximately. At 1:30 a.m., he's cheerily pouring an orange juice, all light and noise. Oh, have you been up long? No, I was not up. I knew heroin users in the 80s, and the confusions and mood swings of the old coot are taking on a familiar shape. Okay, good night, I say. Head back to try take from any sleep an interesting dream. Drift off, interrupted now. He's yelling in the next room at the remote. Channel 10. Then ovation. Thank you all for being here tonight. This is my last poem, Dead Man's Soup. The old man was gratified in a way, I guess you'd have to say, by the COVID shutdowns. Frozen and canned foods at the ready. Flashlight batteries, medication stocked. The day before leaving his house forever, to the painters, roof guy, realtor, we dumped what food was left and can't be donated. Opening the frozen bags from Winco and grocery outlet, Costco, Trader Joe's, delectables of curry, salsa, sweet chili, mustard, Tex-Mex, paneer, into a fragrant goo for the green bin. Like witch's brews we made in the army helmet, my sister says. A kid's game of leaves and berries from the yard. 5 days out from waste collection. We cover it with a deep layer of lawn debris. Hope it doesn't attract raccoons or rats. Thank you again to my co-readers.
One more time, folks. Tim Xonelly. Roberto, antmen, thank you. Thank you all for being here with us tonight. We've got a reception out in the lobby and some books in the bookstore, so please do stick around. I'm sure Tim would love to sign some of those copies. Have a good night, folks.
I should take mine off.
Y'all look pretty. Thank you.
All right.
Yay. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Congratulations, Bob. I love what you do.
Yes.
Stage 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.